Fantastic. I'm here, Tom's here, I think Barb's here, Chuck's here, Ricky's here, Jim's here. Anything for public comment this evening? I'm not really going to get too far into this this evening, but just want to let you know that at the Association of Towns, I went to one of the breakout sessions on New York MEP, which is the New York Municipal Energy Program. This is a program that's been endorsed by the Association of Towns and NICOM as a potential opportunity for some cost savings for the municipality and residents, as it has a focus as it relates to purchasing of electricity and natural gas through cost efficiency energy cooperative program. So going to look at this in some more detail, may actually have the individual come and make a presentation. I did meet with one representative when he was in the region a little while back, just to talk a little bit. It wasn't something that I had a lot of time to explore with him, because he was meeting, I think, with Shazy at that time, but he dropped off a packet of information. So just wanted to give you a heads up that we may be having a presentation sooner rather than later. And I'll get you some information. Debbie, I can get you some information too if you need it. Traffic study, we did get the results of the traffic study. The two recommendations that were pretty much put forth is, one is the idea of a roundabout. That, for many reasons, is not a viable option. One is there would be the need for lane acquisition, and it would cut into a number of locations in that section on Ampersand and Ruger. The more viable of them is the putting of a true signal light, moving back some of the stop lines, closing off one of the parking lots at Stewart's on that corner too, to make it safer. And Trevor and I hosted a meeting with some of the stakeholders in that area recently, just to review some of the details and documents. We're far from putting something out there yet, but we wanted to engage them in some conversation. We believe that this is an approximate cost, about $150,000 investment, with the light being as the primary fixture, though. There could be other infrastructure needs, though, that need to occur. So when you hear $150,000, some may go, wow, that's a lot of money, but it could also not be a lot of, it could be more than that, depending on some of the needs to run wires and, putting the crosswalk lights in and stuff like that. So more to come. I was appreciative that U First Federal Credit Union did participate by putting $1,000 into the initial study. That was a nice public-private partnership. We used that as kind of a model with some folks, just talking about that. I would hope that we can still model a public-private partnership, maybe with Benderson, the Consumer Square folks, maybe U First, Stewart's, etc. So more to come. I just want to give you a heads up that traffic study is out there. If people talk about, we're getting a roundabout or not getting a roundabout, it's not a viable option. And, but the traffic light isn't gonna be installed even probably within the year. So okay. Shared services. Promised that I'd give you just a little bit of a rundown. We held, I really would articulate it as a really good meeting last evening at the county court building. Harry McManus and I, the town supervisors, as you remember, asked that we continue some dialogue. We had a number of the legislators there, Mike Zerlo. We had many of the town supervisors, the village mayors were there, and we talked about shared services, really from a standpoint of there are a lot of obstacles to some of the bigger things, but it was in a way that people identified, okay, these were some obstacles, but we need to do some more homework. And some of the topics are things like possibly a healthcare consortium, looking at Clinton County EMS services. Again, maybe not that they ever happen, but to do some further study, to do some work groups, grant writing, the county, HR services. It was a good discussion. There was a commitment by the elected officials to try to participate in some, soft work groups, and investigate things a little bit further. This is not part of the formal shared services panel that the governor initiated. This was a meeting of people coming together that says, we recognize that we want to keep the dialogue going and see if we can achieve some common goals. So it was productive, and I look forward to some future opportunities. So just a reminder, the active shooter training, if you have questions or concerns about that, please see me. Just want to kind of tease that out there, and certainly if you're not able to attend, we can get you some follow-up information afterwards. Okay. Minutes, some draft material. We do have one item that I would like to bring forward this evening upon request of Tim as Highway Superintendent, and it is, we're going to number it 108, appointment of Jeffrey Dino as MEO2 in the Highway Department. If you wouldn't mind reading the revised one, Rick, I would appreciate that. If you need it, I can give you one.
Yep. Whereas a vacancy exists for a position of MEO2 in the Highway Department, whereas Tim Dubray, Highway Superintendent. Oh, okay. Whereas Tim Dubray, Highway Superintendent, recommends Jeff Dino for an existing vacant MEO2 position. Therefore, it be resolved, the Town Board, Town of Plattsburgh, does hereby authorize the appointment of Mr. Dino to fill the position of MEO2 as indicated in the current negotiated pay scale of $21 per hour, starting April 2nd, 2018. And it be further resolved that this appointment become effective as soon as possible following final civil service approval, and the supervisor is hereby authorized to sign all necessary documents for the appointment of Mr. Dino to the position of MEO2 in the Highway Department with a probationary period of 52 weeks. And it is further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the Finance Manager, Tim Dubray, Highway Superintendent, and that a certified copy will be forwarded to the Clinton County Department of Personnel for a civil service final approval and filing. And it be further resolved that a copy be forwarded to Cool Insuring, and it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the Finance Manager, a copy of this resolution to be put in Mr. Dino's personnel file.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Lefebvre. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Hebert, any discussion?
I just want to mention that I had a chance to talk to Tim about the appointment. And the gentleman that is being appointed, Jeffrey Dino, has 21 years prior experience working in a highway department. I'll share that with the colleagues.
Anything else? Seeing nothing further? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, carries.
82, 88?
108.
108.
108, yep. Okay. We did receive an Arbor Day grant. We can hold off on this one unless people would like to pass it this evening. Is there any interest in passing this one? Don't forget, we don't have a meeting next week, so this is why we're kind of in that flux. It's draft, but
Let's pass it.
okay. So we'll give this number 109 then. Do you want to help?
What's that one for?
The Arbor Day? The Arbor Day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
109, yes.
Did you get one of those?
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh has applied for New York State Urban Forestry Council for an Arbor Day program community grant. And whereas the planning staff has identified possible tree planting locations, a list of possible tree board committee members, and a draft budget for the grant. And whereas the town has been awarded a total of $400 for Arbor Day in the event to be held in April. Now therefore be resolved that Michael Cashman, as supervisor of the town of Plattsburgh, is hereby authorized to enter into and execute a project agreement with New York State Department of Environmental Conservation for such financial assistance to the town of Plattsburgh for an Arbor Day grant. And it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the New York State Urban Forestry Council, the Planning Department, and Finance Manager.
Is there a motion? Caustic, is there a second?
Second.
Fade, any discussion?
I just have a question about the final plan.
Yep.
The grant is 400, are we gonna, do you know what the department's plan is to move forward with the total project?
So ultimately, on the third page in, you'll see possible committee members. Those individuals will review where the planting of those trees will go. One of the places indicated was near the Katyville Beach.
Yep.
To kind of pull that into some of the LWRP stuff they were doing, so.
But I'm talking about the cost. It said the estimated total cost was $1,081 on the back.
That's if the group wants to potentially plant any additional trees. So no additional funds have yet to be allocated. Yep.
And our highway department was at the Katyville Beach today removing one of the dead trees. So that's probably where this new tree will go.
One of them, I believe, yeah.
Okay.
Anything further? All right. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. So does carry. I'm going to ask for a consideration for this one, so just to stay on track so that we get the RFPs because it expires in April. So 110 RFP for uniform rental services.
Whereas it is a good business practice to solicit quotes to obtain maximum value for every dollar expended. And whereas the town's current rental policy agreement expires April 2018, and the town wishes to obtain new quotes, now therefore it is resolved that the town board, town of Plattsburgh, is hereby authorized the supervisor to solicit and receive proposals for uniform rental service for a period of 3 years.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Hebert. Is there a second?
Second.
Caustic. Any discussion? Seeing none. All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is that not an indication of an aye?
You missed
Okay,
that.
You missed the
made
other
a
one.
motion.
You missed the Vienna motion.
all right. Okay, it does carry. I'm gonna try to keep my snark to a minimum, Tom, and not pick on you since you can't speak. Again, if you would like to consider this evening, we can, but we do not need to. Is there any interest in considering this resolution this evening?
What is the change order?
This is the Highway Department purchase request for a new truck.
Has anyone on the highway department been able to follow up on this?
Michael, this is the one that, this is the one in terms of the mini bid that was put out just recently.
Yep.
I
That's,
just didn't know if they're comfortable passing this tonight or
You-
not.
you-
I'm comfortable, I haven't had, I talked to Tim about that today, and haven't had a chance to follow up with Tom, but I did make sure it was the mini bid that they put out, which is a process that they've been utilizing for acquisition of our trucks, so.
I got just kind of question on the mini bid, is this like the low bid or how does it work, or do you know?
It could be the low bid, my understanding though, Michael helped me out, is best value was also,
Okay.
as one of my questions I asked him was best value component
Yeah.
of the mini bid.
But was it the low bid or not, or do we know?
That I can't say with
I believe
any
it
accuracy.
was.
I think it was,
Was?
but I want to. So yeah, I tried to catch up with Tim on this one today.
So I'll entertain a motion, but if there is not, then you can certainly hold off. Is there any interest in someone making a motion for consideration of
Meg,
this?
or to Michael, before we move ahead, Meg, this also includes a combination dump box sander. So the in-box sander is also going to be part of that, so that was something extra for the value of the price.
Okay.
I talked to Jim Woods, when I asked about, this was the year we're supposed to purchase another one, he said it would be about 240.
Okay. Ricky, why don't you read this then?
I would if I had one.
I will give you one.
I got it right here, Michael.
Okay. Resolution 111, Highway Department purchase request for new truck.
Whereas the town highway department truck has maintenance needs exceeding the value of the department's ability to safely operate the said vehicle. Whereas Tim Dewberry, supervisor, and Greg Burnell, deputy supervisor, have complied with New York State Office of General Services procurement requirements for vehicle acquisition by completion of the competitive mini bid process executed via the New York State Vehicle Marketplace. Now therefore be resolved that a letter received dated March 22nd, 2018, Tim Dewberry, Highway Supervisor, is requesting permission to purchase one 2019 tandem axle plow chassis in the amount of $202,740, which also includes plow equipment, combination dump box sander to be used by the town of Plattsburgh Highway Department pursuant to the New York State Office of General Services through standard purchase group contract. And it be further resolved that the town board does hereby grant Mr. Dewberry permission to order of said truck, and the supervisor is hereby authorized to sign all and any related documents required for the purchase. And it is further resolved that payment of said purchase will be made payable from the 2018 highway budget equipment and capital outlay account. And that a copy of this resolution be given to the supervisor of the highway department, town clerk, and finance manager.
Just with one correction, the superintendent of highway department.
Yeah.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
LaFave. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Hebert. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So does carry. Nothing formally left for consideration of other resolutions. Chuck, I know that you wanted to bring a couple things as it relates to the safety committee.
Just a couple things on the safety committee. We met again yesterday morning. Group's been very active, very pleased. Couple of things that we want to look at is a safety program assessment. Scott and Melanie have been in contact with Bruce Gray. Is an outside contractors with Greylock, I believe?
Yeah, that's correct.
Or Landmark, excuse me, consulting. The committee thinks it would be a good idea to have somebody come in with his expertise to take a look at the safety programs, where there may be deficiencies, things that we can work on to make sure that the safety committee's on point with it. Coupled with that, there's, I believe, 5 of us from the safety committee that are gonna go to a chamber training on the 24th of April, specifically on safety committee. So we really think that the consultant with his assessment along with the safety committee training would be a real plus. The one other item that the safety committee would like to throw out, and Mel's getting a couple prices for us, would be an additional AED in this building, in the back portion of the building, so it would be located someplace in between the highway and Parks Water, somewhere's in that hallway in between, so there's accessibility. If something were to happen with that type of event in the back of the building, it would actually have to come all the way up to the front right now, and those are reasonably priced, so.
I think you said near the bathroom, in the back.
Yeah, somewhere's there, yeah, and we kind of left it up to like Bruce Barber, the folks that are working back there on the committee, so.
Okay. I know that there is a need to go into an executive session tonight to talk about pending litigation with the city of Plattsburgh and certiorari as it relates to Plattsburgh RV Park. Is there someone willing to make that motion?
So moved.
Hebert, is there a second?
I'll second.
LaFave. Ricky, can I get a roll call on that?
Lou Casson,
Yes.
Thomas Wood, Meg LeBay,
Yes.
Barb Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick.
Yes.
All right, we will go into an executive session at 6:19. No action planned.